Elected board members. Next, do we have a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of reviewing 2 personnel appointments on the agenda? Jackie makes the motion. Second. Mike Leone, all in favor? It's unanimous, and you can move into executive session.
So happy.
That'll help.
Got stuck in that thing still. Is that recording?
Yeah. Sounds like fun. Do we have a motion to go back into public session? Jackie, seconded by Mary. All in favor? Unanimous? Would someone like to make a motion for recommendation for Board of Education President?
I can make a recommendation. I'd like to nominate Mike Schuster for president of the board.
Do I have a second? Paul, all in favor? Congratulations, Mr. Schuster. I guess I can turn the meeting over to you now.
If I can get this thing to come to life, we'll be good.
It's been nice sitting next to you.
It's been fun.
Does that mean do I get promoted to be right?
There it comes. Next item of business is the election of a vice president of the Board of Education. I would like to nominate Mike Maurizio for the office of vice president. Is there a second, please? Ms. Scanlon? All in favor? Carries 8-0. Congratulations, Mr. Maurizio. Connie? Administration of the oath of office, president, vice president? Didn't mean to start you, Connie. I, Michael Schuster, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Board President of the Board of Education of the North Syracuse Central School District to the best of my ability. The remainder of this meeting is the appointment of various committees, Board of Education officers, other appointments, the designations in item 6, authorizations in number 7, and the readoption of all board policies, number 8. I will entertain a motion to take this entire agenda from 4 through 8 as a group. I would ask that item 5.13 be excluded from that, because I will have to abstain when that comes up. Are there any other items that anybody would like to see excluded from that group before we entertain that motion? Okay, is there a motion then to take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as a group with the exception of item 5.13? Mr. Leon, second. Jackie? Gotta get your name right out there, so everybody knows who you are now, Jackie. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Now, item 5.13, which is the appointment of the financial advisors. Is there a motion to appoint fiscal advisors and marketing as the financial advisor for the 16-17 school year?
So moved.
Ms. Cash? Mr. Farfalia? All in favor? 7 and 1 abstention, Connie? Thank you. And we will entertain a motion to adjourn the reorganizational meeting. Mr. Leon, Mr. Maurizio, all in favor? 8-0. Meeting is adjourned. We will move immediately, as soon as I can find it, to the regular meeting agenda. At this point, I will ask for a moment of silence for Deborah Kulak, who attended schools in the North Syracuse Central School District, and Bernard Worth, a 1945 graduate, Mary, oh boy, G-O-U-X, not sure of the pronunciation, forgive me, a graduate, Peter Ranella III, a graduate, Loretta Katra, a retired employee, Blaze Gardner, a student at the junior high school, and Janet Gillen, a 1958 graduate of the school district. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a presentation for the food service program. Wendy Swift is with us. Wendy, please come up. Good evening.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
Thank you for allowing me to come here tonight and update you on the process and adventures we had in food service this year. Let's see. I just wanted to share with you, much like we do every year, where we stand in terms of our meal counts as we closed out at the end of the school year. As you can see, we still have some declining meal counts, and as we've explained in the past, this has to do with the Healthy Hungry Kids Act, the student choice, the student care for a lot of the products, the whole grain products that we're serving. We're also facing, over the last few years, about a 10% declining enrollment, so that also factors into this. But the one bright spot that we do have this year, if you notice, our breakfast sales are in blue. We do have an increase in breakfast sales this year, which is very exciting to us. We've been working hard to meet the students as they get off the bus and encourage them to come eat breakfast with us. So I just wanted to share with you that at least some of our sales are moving in the right direction. We hope that these students that are purchasing breakfast will then follow and eventually purchase lunch. And as you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I think I said that last year, too. I preached that. And I just wanted to share with you some information from FRAC. And FRAC is the Food Research and Action Center, where we pull a lot of data from. They research throughout the United States and compile all sorts of data, whether it's for the school lunch program, food stamp programs, and we find it very helpful. They are the leading national nonprofit organization working to improve public health and policies. So I just wanted to share with you, because our breakfast numbers are up, why breakfast really is important to the school district. And one of the most important things is that students tend to behave better when they're well-nourished and starting out their day. So this makes it easier for the teachers to get the kids in the classroom and settled in the morning. And children tend to have less tardiness when they're eating and they're properly nourished. And eating breakfast tends to help establish healthy eating habits over their entire lifespan. So I won't read through all of that, but I just wanted to make sure you know what we're focusing on when we're really pushing breakfast sales. And of course, it's always interesting to see who's participating, who's eating breakfast and lunch. So we took a look at both our breakfast and lunch sales for this year. And because breakfast sales went up, we really wanted to take a deep look at breakfast. And we started out the school year serving roughly 23% of our free students. And by the end of the year, we were reaching 35% of those students were eating on any given day. And our reduced sales went up from 17% to 25%. And these are the students we really want to reach, our free and reduced students, which we know probably aren't eating at home, or there's a potential for them not eating at home. And so obviously we're doing better, but we need to improve on this. We realize this, and we intend next year to grow our marketing campaign, sending more materials home to parents, making sure they understand that not only can you receive free lunch at school, but breakfast is also free. That often seems to be confusing to parents. So anytime a parent calls and talks to us about school lunch, we always mention breakfast too. We'll be reaching out to staff also, making sure that they spread the word, because obviously these students need to be nourished at the beginning of the school day. Oop, wrong button. There we go. And this, again, is information from FRAC, and this is nationwide data, just, again, showing kind of nationwide the participation rates for students. And as you can see, a majority of the students eating school lunch are the free and reduced students. And the paid student, or the full price students, you can see right about the 11, 12, 12, 13 school year, it really started to take a dive, and that is primarily due to the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. These children have a choice whether to purchase lunch at school or bring something from home, and more students are tending to bring product from home. And I wanted to share our payroll with you, and one of the reasons for that is that we have been working diligently, as you know, to cut our expenses, to try to hold on to our fund balance and have the monies that we need to purchase food and pay for health care. And we actually did very well controlling our payroll this year. We were $1,000 under the budget. One of the is that we renegotiated our contract with the union, and we were able to work with the union, and we now have a 2-year pay freeze in this contract. So obviously the staff also see the need for controlling cost, and they're working with myself and Mr. Keegan to really find ways to reduce expenses, and this is how they've helped us. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Our financial trend. You know, over the past few years we've been struggling, and as you know, 2014 was our worst year, and last year we started to see improvement in the program. So this year we haven't officially closed our books. We're still looking for data on health insurance and ERS costs, but we're estimating that instead of having a large loss, we're looking at roughly a $45,000 loss. And I do want to point out one thing to you. We did have a very inexpensive truck in our budget. It's expensive to us, maybe not other departments in the district, but our food service van is on its last leg. I can't believe it even survived this year. And we had actually put in some paperwork to purchase a van on state contract back in November. And they build these trucks from scratch, so it is not yet ready, so it didn't end up hitting this budget as anticipated. But had that hit, we would have had another $35,000 expense on top of that. So we would have been right back where we were last year. On to everybody's favorite slide. I think you see this every year. Again, part of the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act regulation is that schools that aren't meeting the weighted average need to increase meal prices. And the weighted average is the average price for school meals. So we have 3 price points for school lunch, and we look at those price points for the specific month that the government tells us, and we figure out what the weighted average is. And in this district, because we have 3 price points, the average cost is $2.34. And with that $2.34, the federal government is saying that's not enough. We need to be at $2.78 for a paid meal. And they come up with that $2.78, which changes yearly by looking at our free reimbursement rate and our paid reimbursement rate. They subtract the paid reimbursement rate and come up with $2.78. And they're saying, really, to cover the cost of paid meals, you need to be at that dollar amount. So we, unfortunately, are not there yet. We will. Seems like we're always chasing this number, because as we increase our meal prices, the reimbursement increases. So you'll probably see the slide for years to come. But that's basically how we arrive at that $2.78. So next year it'll probably be 5 or 6 cents more. So with that in mind, and that we are not meeting the weighted average that the government is suggesting that we are at, we are proposing a 10-cent increase in meal prices, which we had a 10-cent increase that we proposed last year, and it was accepted. And not that this 10 cents is going to get us out of our financial situation that we're in right now, but it will help to kind of cover some of the food cost increases that we're looking at this year. Of course, we have ERS and healthcare costs. So we are hoping that this 10 cents will, again, help us with our financial situation, and that we will come up with a smaller deficit next year. Just to keep things in mind in terms of expenses for food service, we spend just over $200,000 alone just in retiree health care costs. And these are the things that are really causing us to struggle financially. That's a lot of money to come up with when you're selling lunch for $2.50 or $2.70. So that's kind of where we stand. And I kept this kind of short and sweet for you this year because I know you have a busy night, but be happy to answer any questions.
Wendy, looking at the financial trend slide again.
Mm-hmm.
But,
You think I can go back there, right? There we go. There we go. Yes.
These are the annual either surplus or deficit
Right.
at the end of each.
Yep.
Where's the fund balance be June 30th, 16?
We have around $335,000 in fund balance.
Okay, so it's minus the 45 or after the 45,000 for 16?
With the 45 loss.
Okay.
So right around in between 300 and 335. Yep.
Not that many years out.
No. And obviously it used to be much higher years ago, so this obviously is a concern to us.
When you were, 8, 9, you were back in the positive, you were growing it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Another example of financial problems we're having, just since we're talking numbers, back in the 13-14 school year, we were bringing in roughly $465,000 a year in a la carte sales. And as part of the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act, which we talked about last year, they really regulated what we can sell to students. And a majority of the students that were purchasing these snacks were paid students. They're already not buying lunch. They're now not buying snacks. And this year we just closed the numbers on our a la carte sales, and we are down to $503,000. So that is a huge loss. That's another reason why you see us sitting in this situation.
But before, just question.
Yeah.
Unless you already said this and I was somewhere else. Before that, what do you attribute to the loss from like 2009, that big drop to 11? When did that act kick in?
The Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act was voted on in 2011 and actually took place in the 12-13 school year. That was shortly before my time, but I can tell you from looking at Louise's past notes that much like I was doing in other school districts, we were gearing up to get ready for this Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act, so we were starting to make small changes, and the kids already weren't enjoying those changes. And of course, part of that, enrollment is continuing to decline, so you'll see a little bit of that due to enrollment.
One other question. First of all, thank you to you and your team, because I was here last year and it was impressive that I know you're fighting hard to do this, and I appreciate that. I noticed the breakfast and lunch sales keeps dropping on average about 40,000 sales per year, year after year, even this year. So
Yep.
If you project that into 2016, 2017, I don't know what you do to stop it, because it keeps going by about 40, and at some point you can't move any forward, or you can't break even. I know there's really not a question there, but what do you how do you handle that continued reduction in sales?
Right. If you look at our sales from years prior to this year, you would see a more drastic decline. And so I will say our decrease in lunch sales are starting to level off, and at least this year, as I said, we've really pushed breakfast, and that's helped make up for some of that loss in the lunch sales. But it is obviously concerning to us. And we continue, as I said, to try to market and educate, use Facebook. Thank goodness for Lori Cook, because she helps us with Facebook, and trying to tweet information. We've used School Messenger a lot more to send information out to parents and try to get them to sign up for free and reduced, that type thing. And just continue to plug away at that. Our goal this year is really marketing. We're even looking at new packaging to this that looks similar to what they're doing at Wegmans. So we're trying to follow what Wegmans is doing. It may cost us a few cents more per meal, but we're hoping the kids find it more appealing.
I was just going to say thank you to your staff and employees for agreeing to help with our issue by agreeing to the freeze in their salaries.
Yes, they were great about that. Thanks.
And also, my other question was, what are you doing to try to help increase sales? And I think you just explained that. And in your chart, you show the level of the sales, but what I would like to see maybe for next time is how many kids are eligible in the free and reduced, and how many, next to how many who are actually buying it.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. We can do that.
Just want to make one comment that Wendy has worked hard with all the administrators, and we continue to tweak where we can, where if we need to add another cashier or another cash register to help the breakfast lines go smoother. We've done that at several elementary schools because the lines were long and kids weren't getting through. So if we can process kids through quickly, they're more eager to eat breakfast and or lunch. We've tweaked some things at the middle schools as far as that kind of the bag and go. So we continue to kind of take a look, and she's been very helpful, and it seems to be working, and we just keep trying to look at the trends and see what we can do. So I want to just thank Wendy for that.
I don't know if any of you have or noticed, but things we've done at Gillette Road in particular, we've parked a breakfast cart right in front of the door when the kids get off the bus. They can grab it and go to their classroom. And the other thing that we just started doing at the end of the school year, so I don't have a lot of raw data to see how it's really helped us, but we have an aide coming in a little bit earlier in the morning, about 10 or 15 minutes, and we're trying to let those kids that are standing around outside the front door that have been dropped off, we're trying to let them directly into the cafeteria, not further into the building, but they can either continue to study in the cafeteria or breakfast is open and available to them if they're interested in purchasing breakfast. If we find that program is working at Gillette Road, we'd like to farm that out to other buildings where students might be just standing outside in the cold.
Wendy, have you guys got a good handle on what the kids are really eating and buying and things like that when they buy lunch, like what they like, the nuggets, the breakfast? Have you guys got a better handle this year on that?
Yeah, we are continually looking at production records. My dietitian's in the schools every week, monitoring along with myself, monitoring what the kids are liking, what is more favorable and palatable to them. Obviously, production records are our biggest indicator of that, our sales at the end of the day. And a couple years ago, I sat here and told you it was almost impossible to buy food that works and fits into the meal pattern for this program. And the manufacturers are starting to come up with more and more products that actually are much more attractive. They don't look like whole grain products. I will tell you there's less sodium, so the taste is, if a kid has a salt shaker on them, there's nothing I can do about that. But so the taste level, they're starting to use other seasonings to make up for the fact that they pulled the sodium out. We've even done that for the students. We've been buying some more expensive herb mixes and actually incorporating them into our vegetables for the older kids, and they're actually eating more vegetables. If I do that at the elementary school level, as you all probably know who have kids, if they see a fleck of something in a carrot or something else, they'll think it's a bug and they won't eat it. So we're cognizant of age levels and trying to do what we can for each age level.
I have a question. So you've studied is there a greater decrease in lunch sales at the higher grades or the lower grades? I mean, what are you seeing?
And this is very typical throughout the United States. The younger the students are, the more apt they are to purchase meals at school. And as the kids get older, they tend not to buy as often. And part of that is, and Mr. Keegan can explain this to you very eloquently, but a majority of our high school students either come in late or leave early for job studies or head off to BOCES. So we can't really capture a lot of those high school students, or as many as we would like to. So that's a problem for us.
So how did you arrive at a 10-cent increase? I mean, if you're looking for a $2.78, wouldn't you go to an 18 cent?
Well, from past practice and watching other school districts, we have seen pretty much anything that's more than 10 cents the paid students tend to really, or the parents of the paid students really tend to balk at that increase. I've watched students increase meals at up to 25 cents, and at least for the first half of the year, you lose a good portion of your paid students. And of course, we want those students participating too. So we're always looking for that happy medium where we can try to cover our cost and not chase off our customer.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
I just want to thank Wendy. We originally had this presentation scheduled for 2 weeks from tonight, and kind of at the last minute last week, we asked her if she could move it up. So thank you for being flexible.
Oh, no problem.
And providing that for us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Next item, number 3, comments from the audience. I'm looking at the sheet. I don't see any names. Connie, anything? Anybody else? No? That's it? Okay. Number 4A, board committee reports or comments. Anything from any of the board committees? Liz, Mary, nothing? Anybody? Any comments? Board comments on anything? It's been pretty dull, huh? Okay. Okay. Superintendent comments.
Just a couple of things. I forgot when I opened the meeting tonight to mention that Mr. McClintock was excused from tonight's meeting, as well as Mr. Keegan. And I would just like to say congratulations to both Mike and Mike for taking on the role of president and vice president. And I'm happy to work with all of you again this year, and I'll try not to drive.
Okay, number 5, the routine action items. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 20. Classification and placement of preschool disabled students. Consideration of classification and placement of students in home instruction as recommended by the Home Instruction Review Committee. And the acknowledgement of the business office reports for May of 2016. Is there a motion to approve as a group items 5A through 5D? Mr. Leon, Mr. Harrington, all in favor? 8-0. Discussion action item 6A, recommendation to abolish and create positions. As is noted on the agenda, there are 3 positions either to be abolished and or created. Is there a motion to approve the resolution to abolish and create the positions? Ms. Owens, Ms. Scanlon, all in favor? Acknowledgement of the 17-18 textbook list. I just want to make sure. I got one quick question for Don. You did read every book on this list, right?
Last night.
Last night, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. Is there a motion to acknowledge the attached list of textbooks for 2016-17? Ms. Scanlon? Mr. Maurizio? All in favor? Carried. Acknowledgement of gifts. We have several gifts. Several of them from the North Syracuse Education Foundation. Don is here. No? The foundation, I'm sorry. A whole bunch of them. North Syracuse Education Foundation, $6,181.50 to reinstate the high school science Olympiad. $4,103.36 to reinstate the junior high Olympiad advisors. Whoops, I just lost the screen. Thank you very much. Donation of books, $769.18 at Smith Road Elementary. Whisper Phone Select Component System, $206.78 at Roxborough Elementary School. Common Core Reading Response Activities and Materials, 44704 at CNS High School. 10 Dragon Touch Android tablets and USB cables, $1,259.80 at CNS High School. Theater materials valued at $420.34 at CNS High School. Deanna Lee donated toys to the North Syracuse Early Education Program. The toys are valued at $400. And we've been awarded a science, technology, engineering, and math lesson study grant of $168,750 through the National Education Association, NSA, Great Public Schools Fund. So a lengthy list of donations here. The recommended action to accept with gratitude the above gifts to the North Syracuse Central School District. Good long list. Ms. Owens, Mr. Farfalia, all in favor? Okay, the next item is to reinstate the Junior High School Science Olympiad Advisor and the CNS High School Science Olympiad Advisor due to the donation that we just mentioned. Motion to approve that resolution. Ms. Cash, Mr. Maurizio, all in favor? Please.
I always like to add when we're reinstating the advisors that a portion of that money comes from the North Syracuse Education Foundation, but a portion also comes from those kids and parents going out and fundraising to keep their organizations going. So thank you to all of them for their hard work.
E is the reauthorization agreement with the Village of North Syracuse for shared services. Any questions on this? We'll entertain a motion to approve. Ms. Cash, Ms. Owens, all in favor? F, reauthorization to enter into a Lonergan Park license agreement with the village. Any questions or motion? Mr. Harrington, Ms. Scanlon, all in favor? Next is the reauthorization agreement with NAVAC. Use our transportation center facilities. Motion to approve. Mr. Leon, Mr. Farfalia, all in favor? H, reauthorization agreement with the YMCA of Greater Syracuse relative to the use of school buildings for AM and PM childcare. Motion, Mr. Farfalia, Ms. Cash, all in favor? I, the reauthorization agreement with the town of Cicero for shared services. Motion to approve. Mr. Harrington, Ms. Scanlon, all in favor? And J, the surplus of non-marketable equipment. There's a list there available. Is there a motion to approve the surplus list? Mr. Leon, Mr. Maurizio, all in favor? Okay, look at this thing back. Personnel reports, A, B, and C. I know, Mike, you have to have A done separately, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any questions on B and C? Need executive session for it? Okay. Let's take A separately then. Is there a motion to approve the instructional personnel report?
Could I just
Sure.
ask a question?
Certainly.
I have a question, but it's not going to impact the way I vote
Okay.
on the recommendation. So may I ask those questions in the executive session that we'll have? Is that
Okay.
appropriate?
Yeah?
Okay.
You want to vote at this point, though? 'Cause it's
Yes,
not
I'm
gonna
fine.
impact
It's
it?
just a
Okay.
point of information.
We'll bring the question up in there. All right.
Thank you.
So, motion to approve instructional personnel report. Ms. Scanlon, Mr. Leon, all in favor? And abstain, Mr. Maurizio. Motion to approve B and C, support staff and administrative personnel reports. Mr. Leon, Ms. Scanlon, all in favor? Okay, is there a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of reviewing 4 legal matters? I keep killing my thing here. 4 legal matters relative to potential litigation and to review the employment record of 4 individuals with no action to follow. Motion, Ms. Cash, Mr. Leon, all in favor? Okay. We are adjourned to executive session. Thank you.